Hello there everyone and welcome to part 18 of our MotoGP 19 career mode, and today we have two more races for you lovely people. Today we go to the Motul TT Assen Grand Prix in the Netherlands and also to the Dutch Grand Prix at the Sachsenring, the midway points of the season. Now this bang on meets this weekend, of course. We had qualifying today from the Dutch GP where Fabio Quartararo took pole. Now don't worry, you're thinking how can you get away with recording it this late? Yeah, I know I'm recording this late, but it is absolutely boiling hot, so apologies if you hear any fan noise in the background. It is absolutely sweltering in England today, something I rarely say. But anyway, back to the motorbikes. Now last time out we had two interesting results. The Mugello GP we didn't do all too well in. We fell off the bike and recovered to 10th place, even though, as you could visibly see, we were the fastest man on the circuit. And then we went to Spain, and it was a wet race. It was a lot tougher than it seemed. But we did manage to win that. We were pretty close in terms of pace to our teammate. He got the fastest lap in that Grand Prix, but it is us just with the superiority at the front of the grid, with 6 points ahead of our teammate Jorge Navarro. So we've got two more races, two big races for the rest of the season. Assen was absolutely hectic in Moto 3. Will it be any more hectic in Moto 2? It's got a lot to live up to. A nice gap to the rest in FP3 as we usually see, but that gap usually goes down into Q2 just to check, yes, we are in Q2. So, oh, okay, it's been wet the rest of the weekend, so as you can see in FP1 and FP2, the times were quite a way off. So I don't think it was particularly wet, probably intermediates I'd say, not quite wet times, but we're quite accustomed to wet weather here in Assen, so we could well get that again throughout the weekend. Personal best lap of the weekend then to start as a banker of 39.2. The AI's best lap in FP3 was a 39.8. Can they get a 6/10 delta and get to our pole position time? Equally though, we're going to do two more laps just to see if we can pull out a better time than that. It's not going to hurt anything, especially even if we get pole.
What's going on, motorcycle fans? We're here in Assen bringing you live coverage of the Moto 2 class Dutch Grand Prix. The weather forecasts are very reassuring. We'll have sunny weather for the entire duration of the race.
Well, no rain this year, even though we had rain in the Moto 3 last year, and we have qualified on pole, funnily enough. In the two laps we did following the first one, we didn't improve our time, so not really much track improvement there. But as you can see, the front row is back to what it used to be honest. We have Marcel Schrotter in second, with Alex Marquez in third. And as you can see, probably a 5/10 delta to the fastest AI. So I think we've got a good we've got a good advantage coming into this race. Whether we use it or not is questionable. The AI always tend to get more to an average and compared to us in the race. So I think we'll be on par with the AI today. I don't think we'll have much of an advantage, but I think a lot of it, as usual, will come down to the race start, which in the wet last week we absolutely aced. So let's do this.
Just a few minutes to go until the Grand Prix begins. Assen, the Motorbike University.
The scene at the last race was tipping it down with rain at the start, and I thought, oh god, we haven't got much hope here. But Assen poses an entirely different challenge. Let's try. Right, clutch on. Let the revs off a little bit. And that's not a bad start. Oh, well, our first phase of the start was pretty good. And then we were let down by a wheelie on the second phase of the start. And we've been mugged at the start. But luckily, we brake a little bit later, to be fair. A little bit too late. But the results aren't too catastrophic, apart from that bike that just tries to whack us off the track. And any gains we did make by braking nice and late have been completely vanished. But down to 12th, we slot back into the racing line for the first time. That's somebody trying to go up the inside. Now, this isn't probably the best line because we can get mugged by people here and even took out. If you remember last year's Moto 3! What I was about to say, if you remember last year's Moto 3, we got took out. Did that all by ourselves this year. We have a very inconsistent manner in Moto 2 this year. We either go out and win the race in style, or we really struggle. And that's going to be one of those races, it looks like, of the latter. Disappointing. But it's only one mistake in MotoGP, and that's why people love the sport. It's only one mistake, and you can be out of the running for a win. This is almost like Slipstream Set Central, like it was in Mugello. I mean, we gained 2 positions already, and just because we take more speed than the AI into there, apologies to Jake Dixon, couldn't do much about that. Hopefully we get to the corner. Again, we've gone off once, that's a bit of a cheeky cut, so we will give the positions back. But the problem is, once we fell off the bike once, we do tend to take more and more risks. Tom Luthi leads the race, so a bad start for Marquez and Schrotter. Didn't see Schrotter anywhere really within the top 5 or 6. The The front row order has been completely changed. Of course, we've gone to the back of the grid, which is just a massive shame. And it could be the first time in the season where we're knocked off our perch at the top of the championship. But keeping it nice and close to the riders ahead, we're going to try and just get out of this corner safely. So no stupid manoeuvres to impress anyone. Just get out of this corner safely. I mean, we did take quite a bit of acceleration out there in qualifying. Perhaps in a race setting where the tyres were cooler, maybe too much of a risk to take. But into this right-hander and left-hander, it's effectively like a long chicane, but not really. It's just a right-hander and left-hander. But yeah, another place gained there. We'll try and get Cardlus there. And Lowe's, who was really high up before crashing the last race, is back down to 26th today. But as you can see by how the AI are giving up a good fight, and to be fair, we're not trouncing the AI. We might struggle to finish in the points here, and if we do finish in the points, it's not going to be a brilliant result, but then if you do fall off the bike, it's kind of what you deserve. We're starting now to assert our dominance over the slower bikes. Don't like to call them back markers, because they're not. They are good riders just on slower bikes. That being said, our teammate DG Antonio is fighting with Agata for 17th, and he's on exactly the same bike as us, same spec, etc, etc. So surprised that he's had quite a, well, lacklustre start to the season, it's fair to say. Our teammate, though, the other one, Navarro, is the guy we're farted with. That's an interesting one. God, I mince up my words usually, but that's quite the most bonkers of ones. But oh well, we ran that in quite a bit. But as you, I mean, I've said that we're asserting our dominance. We're not really, because we're not, as I said last lap, we are not whizzing past these AI riders. We've just about got past Agata, but I feel like he might give a bit into the corner. But we just say no thank you, and we might go for a move on our teammate, although we're not used to late braking, so that might just mess us up. We have to tap our teammate out of the way just to say, look, I'm your teammate, get out of the way. But obviously he doesn't respond to team orders, does Fabio Di Antonio. But back up to 17th we go, just through pure pace. But that was a bit of a cut again there. Whoops, but no penalty for it, so we'll take it. But we'll have to have a look at the end of the lap. We will have a look at this at the end of the lap. I'll stay with you until then to see where Navarro is, because he's 6 points behind. That means if he's sort of about 9th or 10th, we're getting a bit squirrely on the entry to the corner. Navarro is 4th, so as it stands, he's easily going to take the championship lead. This should be the move needed to get us up to a points playing position. Oh! God, just had no control of the bike out of there. And again, we're on the ground. That would have been a much nastier crash in real life, but luckily in the game, you just respawn. Yeah, if that would have been in real life or with real physics, we'd have been straight out of the race. The bike pounding across the gravel. As you can see, we're just trying to get all the gains possible, and the bike's going, no, you just can't do that. And, well, not much you can do about your temperament, I suppose, but I'm just greedy. I want to be aggressive, I want to get the most out of this. And now we've fell off the bike twice. It's not good enough, really. Well, I think with a lap and a half to go, we can rule this one out of getting any points here. Really disappointed, to be honest, massively. We've managed to rack up a few penalties just by going wide and cutting corners, etc, etc. But a really poor race given our pace in qualifying. And I don't know what's happened here. We've just been way too scrappy, and that's going to be something we've got to work on at the Sachsenring. Just getting way too aggressive here. I mean, 8 attempts worth of penalties now, purely by just going on the curve and being a little bit cheeky. I think they're just trying to sanction us as much as possible. We had kind of like our first and second warnings, and just for infringements that I wouldn't really think are infringements, the penalties keep racking up, and that means, I mean, we should have a much more of an adequate gap behind us just to secure 23rd place. But that is nowhere near where we want to be here, and that's just an absolute disastrous result. And we just need to improve for Sachsenring, which isn't really a race where we can improve, because it's not one of my favourite tracks, not somewhere where historically I've done very good at. On this game, you will see that throughout the last 2 seasons. Tom Luthi wins the race now. Nice to see a different name at the top of the sheet, but it's going to be 23rd, I'd guess, for us, unless Manzi loses 8 attempts miraculously. We're going to get 21st as well on paper, but I think it will end up in 23rd. And considering the pace we had and the potential the bike had in this race, it has got to be disappointment now. Navarro gets 3rd, Navarro gets 4th, Baldassari in 3rd, Schrotter 5th. And as you can see, the championship changes quite a bit. I mean, there's still myself and Navarro that lead, but Navarro is now the leader rather than us. So we have to go next to the Sachsenring and see if we can get that lead back. Well, this seems a bit of a shame. I mean, we're trying to make ground here this week, and it looks like we're going to have to go through Q1 because FP3 is a washout. We'll definitely do some laps to try and get some development points and get a few laps on the board, but unless it's been raining the whole of the weekend, which we will find out with the combined FP session times, Looks like we're going to have to start this one and go through Q1 to get to Q2, which is a bit of a hassle. Well, we're going to have to do it through Q1 nonetheless. As you can see, our time way off anybody else's in the top 15 just in that session, especially if it was dry. Yeah, it was dry before, so our time should be, in theory, the last of the bunch, as it is. So we're going to have to do this through Q1, and if it's wet, well, I can't see us getting through. Bring me sunshine in your smile. Yeah, even me singing's not going to help the weather. Probably it'll make it worse. Yeah, as you can see in Q1, it is absolutely pouring it down. Possibly worse than it was in FP3, making things very tricky for us to get through. We just don't have... We had it in Barcelona in the race. Don't know why we don't have the raw pace here at the Sachsenring. That's a really nice entry out onto the track. That is Honda. Thank you very much, Aegis. But if we didn't have it in FP3, I don't see any reason why we're going to get through here. And this could really dent our chance of picking up anything, especially if it's wet again on race day. This could be a pointless episode, quite literally. Oh, God, that was close. Amazingly, just about got through to Q2. Let's hope, fingers crossed, within the next 15 minutes it dries up, because we haven't got a cat and owl's chance of improving our position. But by 9 thousandths of a second, we have got a chance at least, and we have qualified for Q2. It couldn't be sunnier here in England today. I keep saying this. It's quite the contrast here at the Sachsenring. I mean, supposedly Europe's going through a heat wave at the moment, and some people would forget that this sort of weather could happen and actually exist. But there we go. But we are going to struggle in this Q2 session. Only got 4.5 minutes left. We've left it late to come out. The fastest lap by Nagashima. I was going to say Nagashima. Nakajima is an old name from F1. That's going back quite a few years now. But anyway, Nagashima has set a 1:34.3. Obviously a personal best time. It's not faster than Nagashima. It's so tricky not saying Nakajima. I don't know why I just can't say Nagashima. There we go, that's okay. But, oh, wide, stay on the bike. Yeah, I'm dreadful. Not necessarily in all tracks, but at this track, I'm bad enough as it is. In the wet, I'm just a health hazard. Oh, we're off. Yeah, we fell off again. We've had quite a few falls in today's episode, actually. Oh, God, I mean, can't get any tracks in the wet. But this is pretty much going to be the end of our qualifying session. I mean, we'll set this lap. We'll set a respectable lap. We can't exactly end the session on a 140 something. You know, we might actually beat someone. But I pray to God that it's not wet tomorrow, or else we're just not going to score any points. And that gulf is going to grow bigger between myself and Navarro. And that nice little championship battle that the two of us were having is going to turn into a one-way battle. And we're going to be down in the dumps fighting for second and third.
Hello and welcome to the Sachsenring circuit. The waiting is finally over. The German Moto2 race will be starting in just a few minutes. After the rain a few hours ago, the skies have finally cleared up, but there hasn't been enough time between the rainfall and the start of the race to let the track dry out. This means that the race has been declared wet, leaving the choice of most suitable tyres to each individual rider.
Well, at least it's only damp. At least it's not chucking it down. At least we, I suppose, have some sort of a chance. But we qualified the back of the bunch in terms of Q2. We were way off anybody else's pace. And if that sort of pace is to go by, well, we've got no chance in this race. It's Tom Luthi who takes pole for this race, with Navarro and Marquez on the front row. Not an encouraging sight for us trying to fight for the championship. We're back, as you can see, in P18, all the way down on the 6th row of the grid. I think our worst qualifying, definitely our worst qualifying, in fact, to date in Moto2. So let's see if we can make a good start. We did this in Catalonia, whether it was just a lucky start or what. Let's see how we got on this time. The lights are out and away we go. I mean, not the worst getaway ever, but not ideal either. We've lost 1 or 2 positions that have equally not been mugged. Oh, maybe I got the braking wrong a little bit there, but some people have been very cautious. However, that Petronas bike has been the opposite of caution. And to be fair, taking his chance, we'd be usually opportunist and... yeah. Oh, we got no head anymore. Right. We've just got no head. I mean, out of that corner, wow, we put our foot down and the bike was just going, no chance. And it's just been crash, 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 crash. We've rarely crashed in Moto2, but this episode has really been the case that we've crashed quite a lot. And to be honest, given our pace, we're not going to get much higher than this in this race, unless something dramatic changes. At least we've gained time on the pack. There is a possibility we can potentially get into this. You'll see that we probably overtook a few. Basically, at the first corner, we overshot it. So, We did make some temporary gains, but we didn't exactly stay to the racing line, hence why we're still in last place. But we've just got to keep composed, be positive, which is something we haven't really done much of so far this episode, and just see how far we can get up this grid, because you never know, it could be the case we get a point or two, but I doubt it, but you just never know. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Our controller's lost connection, but the worst thing is that the game doesn't actually give you an opportunity to pause. That's absolutely fantastic. Oh dear. Hopefully we can restart the race, because this seems a little bit unfair. I'm just getting some batteries in the controller now. If this episode couldn't go any worse, believe me, I can't see it going any worse. There's some batteries in now, but hopefully we can restart this race. Seems ridiculous to go from there, but don't worry, that wasn't a stunt. That genuinely wasn't a stunt. My controller battery's low. Didn't think they were going to die on me, for Christ's sake. So let's start all that again, shall we? Oh, I don't need to go through all the rituals, blah 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 blah. Right, clutch start. Let's make sure we make a good better one this time, and we are away. Not too bad. Oh god, we nearly suffered the same fate, but earlier there. But equally a poorer start. But let's just learn from our mistakes last time and make a little bit of a deeper run into turn one. That's a better start. Just don't want to get tapped here. We want to make sure we have a nice run out of here. There we go. That's much better. But no, that genuinely wasn't a stunt. My controller battery's low, but I didn't expect if they ran out for the game just to carry on. Surely you'd just the game would pause like any normal game. But this does give us a bit of renewed hope here. We've had a good start actually up to P16, but the pace of the top 15 probably a bit too quick for us. But as I said in the first run of this race, if you like, before the restart, there's a chance we could finish in the points. There could be something happen that means we finish in the points, and this could be it. But as you can see, Shantra getting through easily there. We're just not brave enough to take the pace at the corners, because I know exactly what will happen if we do. We'll just fall off the bike. So we'll have to see how we get on, but P16 might be our maximum here. That being said, we could get a decent run on Gardner and Lowe's potentially. Tap Gardner out of the way. And we are into the points for now. Woo! But I wonder how long that's going to last for. Let's have a look there. We'll stay with this, because Lowe's had quite a poor run down the straight. We'll take that position off him. But equally, he can just mug us on the brakes, and Jesus Christ, Garner going straight back for it. I think he broke a little bit too late though there, because we did get him back. Now Sam Lowe's. Oh, I'm just checking. Yeah, they are braver on the brakes, but they're braver anyway. But in the wet, it's a lot trickier, because the effects of early braking isn't that good in terms of getting out of the corners. Obviously, braking early doesn't really make a difference, because you can't get the traction out of the corners, much like the rest, and we probably broke way too late for there. So we're going to have to pull out, even though, to be fair, the effects there weren't all too bad. Down to P16. But yeah, we'll see how we get on for the rest of the race. Just to show this again, we're in a points-paying position temporarily. Gardner's gone a little bit wide there, I think. I don't quite think that... There's braking late and there's braking a little bit later. Possibly we might have pushed him out a little bit wider than intended there. But as you can see, as soon as we get up to that P15 or 14, the rest just bugger off. But that being said, we've set quite a competitive lap here, to be fair. 1:31.4 was the fastest lap, and we've done a 31.8. So all of a sudden, it might be a little bit too little too late, but we might have decent pace around here. Again, we probably broke too late there, so we're just going to have to be careful on the exit. And Sam Lowe's does take that position back, but get off the curb. But if we take a point here, honestly, that would be a massive achievement considering how bad we've been this weekend. Gardner's got other ideas though, thank you very much. We'll get him back for now. This could be quite a good battle actually. He's on the inside, give him enough room, but equally we don't want to be pushed out onto the curb. Yeah, Gardner will get us for now. I think everyone, including me, has just got into their rhythm now. It doesn't help the fact that the guy in front of us, Gardner, is setting the fastest laps of the race. Yeah, we're in a rhythm, but again, once you're into a rhythm, it's tricky to go quicker. We're certainly doing pretty well in terms of pace actually, compared to what we were doing. As you can see, there's a 16 strong train for the front, so with 2 laps to go, if the track gets drier or something, we could be on for a good result here, but that's pretty wishful thinking. This looks promising. We just set the fastest lap of the race. Where has that come from? I've got absolutely no idea, but because of that, we've got a good run on Gardner now, and we've used him as a little bit of a break into the first corner. Sorry, Lowe's, if we have to take you out here, but this could be a light charge for a few points here. Unfortunately, we can't get past Lowe's. But let's just see if we can go for it now. We might as well just push. If we fall off again, well, well. But let's push and see how we get on. Oh, up the inside of Lowe's. That's good braking into there. And there we go. A great position made. I think finally the penny's dropped after a lot of laps around here. We've got a bit more confidence. I'd say probably the track surface is getting a little bit drier, which is helping us out. You know, more traction out of corners, where our riding style comes to the forefront. So potentially 13th or 12th could be good here, and that's going to help the deficit that's going to be set by Navarro finishing well here. But not as bad a race as I thought this would have been, to be honest. And it almost makes it look like it definitely was a stunt to restart the race, but as you saw, my controller bloody batteries ran out. Well, onto the final lap, and another fastest lap from us, unbelievably. The worst thing is that our teammate Navarro is winning this race, for goodness sake. The man, we're in a championship battle with possibly the worst result for us possible, because... Oh, hello. Welcome back, Laciona. Wow, our teammate is leading, and that's annoying. I mean, we're going to finish the slowest of the speed-up bikes, it looks like, in terms of the track, because DJ Antonio is up in 11th place, to be fair to him. But I think 13th is quite an achievement, considering how slow we have been the rest of the weekend. But hopefully, now, yes, we do turn into the chaser rather than the chased. But I think I've got confidence in the upcoming race that we can reduce that deficit and still go for this championship battle. It's not like, well, we've had 2 poor races, it's all over now. The gap is going to go quite large because it's going to get to what? Probably 20 points, let's say. I think it's about 6 points. With him getting a win, it's going to be, you know, maximum 30. So, yeah, about 25 points, which is a race win, really. So, we've got to sort it out in the next few episodes. So, the summer break, which we have got in inverted commas, technically there's no episode out for 3 days, so we can call that a bit of a summer break. But after that summer break, we're going to have to come back fighting and see how we get on. But 13th place can be a very respectable finish here. I might even throw it up the inside of Fernandez, maybe at the risk of falling off. But no, we haven't got the momentum to throw it up the inside of him. But the fastest lap from us, incredibly, and we only finished down in 12th. That is quite unbelievable. Fernandez, if the finish line would have been where the start line is, we'd have probably got past Fernandez by then. But another fastest lap by us and P13, and as you can see, we are now 29 points behind our teammate, and 6 points behind we were at the start of the episode. So that's, what, a 35-point turnaround, which is massively disappointing. But leaves us work to do, I guess, in the next few episodes. But if you've enjoyed that, even though it was pretty bonkers, make sure to leave a like down below, comment if you enjoyed as well, and subscribe for more MotoGP content. Remember, there won't be an episode now until Tuesday, so you might have to wait a little while longer. But there is plenty of other content on the channel for you to enjoy before that video. So check any of the elements on the end screen that you fancy the look of. But until the next time, I've been TIJ Gaming, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.